Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome into Cardinalytics, an Arizona Cardinals podcast, hosted by fans for the fans here on December 19th, 2024. A couple days removed from the Cardinals' victory back in the win column against the Patriots. But not only just a victory, another victory at home as well, but it was also the very first time where this podcast here got to link up and attend a game. Got to meet my brothers for the first time. Like I said, we built this community over, Twitter and just engaging with each other. But to see if a plan come to fruition felt amazing, and I was glad to be there with my guys. So Jake, Shot, how are you boys feeling? A couple days removed from the victory, but a couple days removed from our trip as well, back in our homes and doing our things.
Yeah, man, that was a great time, bro. Great trip. It was great to meet y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously
Mhm.
glad that the Cardinals got a dub. And hopefully, we can make this like a yearly thing. Um,
Yeah.
you
Absolutely.
know, uh,
Had
I
a
had a
help.
good time. That was like my second time out in Arizona. Um, the first time was like 2018, just to I guess to paint the picture for the viewers, because I told y'all this. First time was 2018, I think. But it was Cardinals versus Rams, and we ended up playing in London. And the Cardinals did not put up a single point. They put up a goose egg that
Mhm.
game. But so now for me to come out this time, hang out with you boys.
Yes,
Jake,
sir.
definitely appreciate the hospitality
Of course,
that
bro.
you
Of
showed me,
course,
letting me
bro.
stay with you, and
Absolutely,
it was
brother.
just great getting a dub.
Yeah, bro. Had a hell of a time myself. It was great to meet these boys in person. Yeah, a lot of great times. Definitely looking forward to link it up in the future, going to more games. That was a blast, bro. At like specifically at the game too. Just obviously like for years, like this podcast has been texting about the games during the game. So
Yeah.
just to be there and just see how like each of the three of us kind of watches the game. I feel like I'm probably the nut job of the but luckily that was a pretty chill game. It was kind of like never
Yeah.
never in doubt. So I was pretty chill. Obviously, still had to give some Pats fans some shit, but no,
Mhm.
all in all, it was a great game. Excited to get into it here.
Corey,
Yeah.
you were a lot more chill than I expected watching the games with. I thought
Same,
you'd be more
Yeah.
stressed out.
Now look. I was gonna say, that was our first, experience together. We haven't been through a war yet. That was kind of an easy little coast to coast, wire to wire victory. So, but when we go through a war, and I'm wearing those modes, and people are doing bad things, and you just want to sit there and yell at them. I just had to be nothing but chill this game. I felt like I couldn't really crash out as much as it could have came to, but it felt good
Mhm.
to not be able to have to do that because the team handled business as they should have. So, but yeah, I ain't gonna lie. When we go to other games, and it's bigger opponents sometimes, and hopefully bigger matchups, like yeah, that other side will definitely have to come out for sure because we'll definitely need that energy. And it's like I said, it felt good to go to the game with y'all and chill out with y'all. So hopefully, as we mentioned, this can be an annual thing for this podcast. But to
sure.
get into the game specifically, we had a great angle of the game. I would say it's one of the top angles. Probably every angle in that stadium looks good. It was also my second time out there. Pretty sure every angle in that stadium looks good. But we also had a nice view of the field, nice view of the game. I think all the touchdowns ended for the Cardinals ended up happening away from us. The Drake May touchdown, I think, happened on our side, but I think all the Cardinals touchdowns happened away from us.
Yep.
But overall, just offensively, we kind of got back into somewhat of a groove. I think overall, there are still a lot of questions to be answered, and specifically with the passing game. I mean, overall, the numbers specifically said they had a good day. Nothing down the field, nothing needed down the field because the run game was dominant. Kind of a trend that I'm noticing, obviously, with this football team is that when the run game can be dominant, they'll work you like that, and it will stay dominant. But we do face teams overall that are more physical than our offensive line and/or stop our run game. We kind of slowed down a little bit in the past game, and we didn't get a chance to see that. So we have another opportunity against Carolina this coming week. But what do you guys think about that Pats game offensively? Just how James Conner had a monster day. Kyler Murray was just kind of efficient outside of that one play. If you guys want to talk about that one play, but like I felt like he was getting a lot of heat on Monday from his performances or from his performance for not having a gaudy statistical number game. But I thought overall, just watching it in person and rewatching it on tape, I thought it was just an okay, pretty decent game, enough to get the victory. Kind of what you need in December at the end of the day. any way you can win, you can win. So, what do you guys think about that game and our offense and Kyler Murray?
So I know that one play that you're talking about with Kyler almost sent you to actually crash out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
thankfully, you know what I'm saying, we got the flag called on that play. But no, just from the get-go with the offense, it was funny because like first play of the game, we're sitting there like, okay, what we're gonna do first play of the game, and it's a bad snap. Like Froho just snaps it in the dirt, and luckily James Conner falls on it, right? And we're like, snap! Is this how it's supposed to go? Is this how it's gonna go tonight?
Yeah.
Um, but thankfully they kicked it into gear. Game was never really in doubt. I think they got up 10-0 early. And kind of like you said, like the question marks is still just like the passing game. Like, we gotta get I say we got to, but like I don't think anything's gonna change at this point. But like we gotta start taking more shots down the field. Like we gotta get more involved in different ways. And even though
Mm-hmm.
he was getting strapped by Gonzo, it's so many times like receivers get locked up by good cornerbacks and their offensive coordinator finds a way to manufacture touches, you know what I'm saying, for them. Now, one thing we did see was uh Greg Dortch, where he's been at, you know what I'm saying? Like he's just been chilling all year and like he had his best game probably all year against the Patriots this weekend. So that was good to see him get involved. They finally kind of got him involved in some screen passes.
Mm-hmm.
Um and we saw he took that one screen pass about like 30 yards, almost scored. But overall, I mean the offense looked good. The run game was there. Um Kyler, you know, I kind of told Jake this, like, Kyler's gonna have critics no matter what, because people always care about fantasy football. But I don't care about fantasy football. I care about wins and I care about efficiency and good quarterback play. And outside of the one pass that could have been a pick, but ended up not being a pick, I felt like Kyler had a decent game. He didn't have any touchdowns, but there was a lot of plays where it was close for him to have a touchdown, like the pass to James
Mm-hmm.
Conner on third down that he took down to the 1 yard line. Um, and then the shuffle pass to Trey McBride in the red zone, that kind of, if he
Mm-hmm.
could have broken the tackle, that could have gone for a touchdown. Then now we're talking about Kyler, totally different, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought the offense played all right, but Carolina's looking good this week, so they got to keep it going.
Yeah, Jake. I mean, you got another view of this offense. Kind of hopefully wanted to see it get back rolling. It got rolling in its own way. Patriots haven't been a good run defense. You from the Boston area, you kind of remembered that and been mentioning that this whole entire process before this game. But just talk to me about this offense and kind of what you saw in person. And is there anything that is left to be improved for sure?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. I'm honestly glad that Kyler had that play where he threw a pick but didn't throw a pick, just because it's good. Like it's honestly like best case scenario because like he made the mistake and it's a recurring mistake that he likes to make in our own red zone, like backed up in our own territory. And I'm glad that he did it so they can look at it on film and be like, had we not gotten this like fortuitous roughing the passer, that could have easily not been called roughing the passer. Like we almost have like a different feel to the game that was like really never in question because that would have put them on like our 15 and that's obviously Seattle's a much better team, but like that's what he did to Seattle. He gave them the ball on our 15, and a good team's going to make you pay. So it's like if we're in a position here to go out and walk away with the dub this weekend, like I said, I'm glad that he committed that error to look at it on film and be like, all right, this is 2 weeks in a row that I've done this. Cannot have this going into LA against a Rams team that's going to take advantage of every sort of opportunity like that. James Conner, shout out to him. Like I said, I got this shirt on for James Conner. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen this movie, but American Psycho.
Let's stand up a little bit.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I need James Conner this weekend to be an American Psycho. He obviously was. He was this past weekend, so thoroughly enjoyed that. Marvin Harrison kind of like feel the same way that I felt, where just very soft at the point of reception, and yeah, of course, Christian Gonzalez, one of the top corners in the league at this point, second-year guy out of Oregon. He definitely had his number, but at the same time, like there's still casuals out there that are saying like Kyler doesn't throw to Marvin, and it's like, bro, like he's force feeding the guy, bro. Like, literally gave him like 3 or 4 chances in the end zone until he come down to one of them, and he couldn't. So I think like part of it is Gonzo being good, but at the same time, we've seen Marv not be able to complete those type of hookups against far inferior talent on the opposite side of the ball. So props to Gonzo, of course. He definitely strapped him up, but at the same time, like it's these same issues that we've been seeing with Marv, where he's just not very. He doesn't play like a 6'4", 205 plus receiver. He plays like a Greg Dortch size receiver. So got to improve that, man. But yeah, like you said, like Shot said, Kyler shovel past McBride, past the Connor where he went down at the 1 again, which he's done a million times this year to Kyler. And then obviously Marv having like a few targets in the end zone that he could have come down with. So I think it was encouraging. Though. It was definitely the best we've played in a few weeks, or about a month. So I think we got something to build on.
Yeah, like you said, like the Marvin stuff, that definitely in person was underwhelming, I think, as well. Like just he had that first reception that went for that nice drag and it opened up. But other than that, like Gonzalez, as we mentioned, he is a good corner. Like, don't get me wrong, the guy is an elite talent. But there are multiple points of attack of the football that I feel like Marvin is just not kind of seeing or finding, or who knows what it can come down to. Obviously, like we think he's still a good receiver. He's still going to be a great receiver, but until and Drew Terrell mentioned this in the little interview, I think that he had a little scrum where he was like, Marvin just kind of has to realize he is that type of guy. So we don't know what's being preached to him, how he's feeling, what it looks like, but you just got to be that guy. And specifically the very first touchdown or the very first target in the end zone to Marvin, I should say, the one that I think that was on our side, the first one that was on our side, Marvin, he does a great job of winning at the point of, he wins on the route. He gets the fade. He gets nice separation. Kyler throws it in there. He has to understand, instead of like he kept running towards the back pylon as if it was just going to float towards back pylon. And instead of not just going and running and stopping, going up for the pass because the defender has already been beaten at this point. You go up for the catch. It's going to be pass interference or you're going to catch it. It's like he kind of just is his eyes on the football or his positioning to catch the football has been off. And obviously that could be a Kyler thing, that could be a Marvin thing, but go ahead. Like I just feel like his positioning of the catch has been off.
I was about to say, like, I feel like it's a little bit of both. Like, we have these expectations from Marv where it's like he's gonna come in and not be a rookie. But he's a rookie. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody like DeAndre Hopkins, somebody like I don't know, a veteran receiver, Mike Evans, is kind of slowing down and drawing that pass interference because they know like what's called in the NFL. They know how to kind of manipulate the referees. But Marv is still a rookie. He's learning. And I feel like a part of it's on him. And then, a little bit of it is probably on Kyler in that like, okay, hey, like I need to throw this ball back shoulder. Like if this isn't working, like we need to come together and say, hey, like we're not connecting on these balls because I'm expecting you to jump up and go get it. Maybe I need to start throwing it back shoulder. But then again, maybe they're not comfortable with that because of the timing and all that stuff. So like I feel like it's a little bit of both. But more than anything, I feel like it's like, hey, Marv is a rookie. Like he still has some growing pains. And if he's not this like amazing athlete where he's just blowing by people, like beating people with speed, beating people with like, you know what I'm saying, like jumping over people, making contested catches, like then he has to learn those small little nuances because that's the only way that he's going to be able to kind of make those plays or capitalize in those moments where it's like, okay, Mark, we're not just throwing you the ball just to be throwing you the ball and we don't get anything out of it. Now at least we know like maybe there's a 30% chance you catch it, 30% chance pass interference. Like so
it feels like specifically on a lot of those targets, like the back shoulder fade targets. And real quick before I continue, before I look over, do you have some comments? Kay, hey guys, appreciate you coming through.
What's up?
Dana she mentioned, said cheers. Appreciate you, Dana, for coming through. Said just read confirmation that Paris is out for at least a game with an MCL sprain. Beecham and Williams, you think, or does Christian Jones get another look? I didn't think about Christian Jones. I didn't even think about him, but I think I think when you're in the thick of the playoff race now, you're definitely inserting Beacham, and then Williams was also in there. So that's kind of how I would look at it. Not really sure what side they play on. I probably would assume Jonah Williams goes left, Beacham goes right, but whatever the coaches feel comfortable with, I think they'll do. Obviously, we'll know Beacham. He's played well. He should be ready. So hopefully it works out for us. And I think she was also following up on what we were talking about with Marvin just now, saying he doesn't muscle the ball away with contact, playing like a finesse guy. It's true. And
yeah,
it's just like you said. Yeah, I don't understand why especially most of the touchdowns or the targets or the back shoulder targets are always like you're waiting for the ball to come at you. Like a lot of his targets, we've seen him just wait for the ball to come at him. When is he going to go snag the ball up top in the air? Like that's the confusing part. Why is that? Is that not taught by Drew Terrell? Because Michael Wilson sometimes does it. Greg Dortch at least tried to do it in Buffalo at the end of the game. So like, why is Marvin not the one to go up and go get the ball? Been kind of the confusing position for him, because that's what Kyler wants to do. You think about Antoine Wesley, like a guy that Kyler had a lot of connection with because he was able to go get the jump ball. AJ Green able to go get the jump ball. Like for some reason, he just does not go get the jump ball, and it's just you're waiting for the ball to consistently come to your chest. That doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, I was about to say it's almost like she said, like finesse receiver, but not getting finesse receiver targets, right? Like he's not getting like those type of looks. He's getting the type of looks where it's like, bro, we need you to go up and win 1-on-1. You know what I'm saying? But
I was gonna say, Jake, get on. I was gonna say, Jake, go ahead, get on that.
I was gonna say, yeah, I feel like they're treating Marv as if he's kind of like the role that Hopkins played for us, where you could just throw it up to him and he would either draw pass interference or would just straight up like bully the DB and make a catch, and that's just clearly not Marv's play style. I don't even know like a guy at this point that I could comp him to, because it's just such a unique style of play for someone his size and of his like prospect status. So it's just like, I mean, it's crazy, bro. Every ball to him, it either needs to be like wide open or Kyler needs to put an absolute like dime in the breadbasket where he can just like kind of like toe tap the back of the end zone, but just again let it fall like into the actual basket. I like still haven't once seen him just like make a hands catch like outside of being like wide open, bro. So it's like But additionally too, like we saw like kind of that like underneath route that he ran early in the game that went for like 24 yards. It was kind of like feel like they had like Marv was in the slot and they kind of had like the outside guys like clear out, and then it was just wide open across the middle, and he ended up like cutting it upfield. And it's like, dude, we should at least be throwing that like exact route from both sides of the field like 3 to 4 times a game. Should be automatic.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
I agree.
That's what, dude. Like that's exactly how they utilize CeeDee Lamb in Dallas, and like sometimes, yeah, it only goes for like 6 or 7 yards, but oftentimes, like half the time, it goes for like 15 plus. I think Marvin, that situation.
I was gonna say, I think back to the plays that he's made in the season, and it's like the play against Ramsey, he's running across the field.
Right.
The play against the Rams when he had the long touchdown, he's running across the field.
Yeah.
So like, it seems like that works for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when it comes to getting separation, and obviously, like the Patriots run a lot of man. So it's like, I agree. Like if teams are going to sit there and run man-to-man against us and Marv's not getting open down the field, he has long enough strides to cross the field and get open pretty consistently.
Right.
I don't know. It really is it's a mystery, because he's not a bad player. Like you would think he's not a bad player. You just kind of think he's in his own head. And I mean, Dana, she mentions it. I think the entire online fan base agrees that the pass game is broken at this moment. I just think we disagree on the cause. Corey and I are looking at the scheme as the biggest culprit in those route combos, and the scheme can be more like, and I can be more in agreement. I just don't understand what they're trying to accomplish, like with the route combos. And Classy Nancy also is coming through, says, "Feed me, Starvin Marvin Jr." I mean, I feel like Kyler's feeding them. I just feel like the targets are low percentage targets. I feel like the options for him to get the football are kind of more minimal towards how he's playing right now. Like he's clearly not that type of receiver to be a jump ball receiver. So you kind of want to work him inside, and they don't really do that with their receivers. They do that with the tight ends. And it's not really something that's effective for them. So, but I'm in agreement. Like the route combinations, the designs, I don't really get those. Some of the stuff does not really make sense, and you kind of look at it like Kyler is the one read quarterback. That's what everybody says. He says he doesn't go through progressions. You look on the film, there is kind of set. When Drew Petzing mentions things like design plays to put the ball where it needs to go, like that's to me sounds like one person's going to get the ball. If that person can't get the ball, the play is broken. Can the play be fixed by Kyler Murray? And that's why they call him so special in there in the rooms and stuff like that, because he is that type of guy to fix broken plays. But you shouldn't be running that many type of broken plays throughout the game. Like you're consistently running broken plays throughout the game because if the first read isn't there, he's bailing, and you've seen that lately. Like how quick, like he was standing in the pocket earlier in the season. Throughout most of the middle of the season, he was standing in the pocket. A lot of times now he's bailing so quickly, and I don't know if that's due to projection or if that's due to my first read isn't there. I'm going because that's my coaching, and that's what I was told to do. Like I really don't. It's a confusing point for me personally.
Well, that leads to a question that I wanted to ask y'all about Kyler. Like, obviously, like, this is what, year 5 for Kyler? 5 or 6? 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, obviously we're gonna start having questions. And I'm not saying like the questions are loud or whatever, but like I feel like to me, like one of the things that like I've seen from Kyler like throughout the years is like, okay, he doesn't necessarily trust the rest of his team when it comes to like not if the game's on the line, but it's like, okay, this is a big point in the game. Like, hey, we need to make sure we score here. We need to make sure we make a play here. And he often kind of does a little bit too much. Where it's just like how we saw this past weekend, where we got lucky with the passer, with the roughing the passer, but like he goes into mode where it's like, damn, season's on the line mode, just within the game, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that like, do you think like we'll get to a point where he's not thinking like that, where he's like he actually trusts his defense to go out there and make a stop? And 2, like, do you feel like we're there? Like, I guess, do you feel like we're kind of there now? Like, because oftentimes, I say often, but like you look at the big name quarterbacks, right? Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, like they make so many bonehead plays within the game, or not so many, but they make at least like 2, 3 bonehead plays in the game, and like it doesn't cost their team. Kyler makes one bonehead play, it costs the team, and you can see like he feels like it cost the team. Do you think we'll get to a point where like that's not the case, or are we there now?
I would agree with that for everyone you listed except Burrow. I'm honestly not a big Burrow guy myself. I just feel like he's like a little bit overrated, but I feel like, sorry, Shad, but I feel like he's kind of in a similar boat as Kyler, where he doesn't, at least last couple of years, or at least this year, doesn't have the leisure of being able to screw up without it like costing them the entire game. But in our situation this year at the Cardinals, I feel like the defense can be so hit or miss. Like as we saw in Minnesota, locked down for the first 3 quarters of the game, and then the second we needed the complimentary football from their side, because it was like that whole game, it was basically the defense was holding their own, needed the offense to complimentary football, and we weren't. And then late in the game, the offense still wasn't playing complimentary football, and then the defense, of course, you're not gonna have a perfect game on either side of the ball. So when they slipped, boom, the usual culprit, the offense couldn't pull their weight. Literally, all we needed was a field goal on that last drive, and they weren't able to even get close. So it's just frustrating too, bro, because it really makes you realize, like, even thinking back to that Minnesota game, like we were all, I'm not trying to come at Marv here, but like we were all promised that this guy was going to be this crazy like X factor game changer. Honestly, even like as Mina Kimes was talking about this past week with PHNX, and he's just not really that at this point. Trey McBride's a tight end, so like, but my point is, like, you had D-Hop where you could just throw this guy like a deep ball and like he's either catching it or you can bet your ass he's going to draw the path interference to move us down the field and get us into field goal range. Unfortunately, we don't really have a guy like that at this point. Like the three of us were even talking about at the game. There, one of those fade balls that Kyler threw up to Marv in the end zone. He easily could have like come back and drawn like an easy defensive pass interference, because Gonzo never even turned around to like a little head turn at the last second. He just never did it. So had Marv like had any bit of like veteran savvy there, he would have just come back into the ball and gotten the call or caught the ball. So yeah, it's tough not having that. I feel like we are missing that piece, but yeah, my bad shot. I kind of got away from
No,
your
no,
question.
I was just about to say, I just get the sense that like sometimes like Kyler just feels like, bro, like I gotta make a play. And it's
Mhm.
like when you look at the team, sometimes like you're like, yeah, Kyler, we need you to make a play. But other times you're like, nah, like everybody else is doing what they're supposed to be doing, run games working, defense is balling, like just don't mess up. But like I feel like he's been in like I need to make a play mode for so long that like I don't know if he's gonna get out of it. I feel like he can get out of it, but like I don't know like how good does our team have to be for him to like get out of that? Because like you mentioned, Corey, early on in the season, like he's progressing through his reads, like you know what I'm saying? Like he's confident in the team that we have. Now we slip a couple games and it's like, I gotta make a play. I gotta make a play. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, like at the end of the day, he's probably not gonna be those other guys, and it's
Yeah,
unfortunate to it's.
yeah,
I mean, we know that it's unfortunate to say that because he obviously the pick that he's taken and what he's paid doesn't really matter to me. But the pick that he was taking and what he means towards his team and his franchise at least the last couple of years. But at the same time, like he's clearly a guy that we have to build the team around. You have to have certain pieces to have them be successful when he's playing with you. And I don't agree with people that saying that Kyler stinks or he sucks or he can't do this because I've seen him be a top quarterback in the NFL in games. Like, is a consistency an issue? Like, I think the consistency was fine for 10 weeks. Even in games that we lost, I think it was fine for 10 weeks. I think the last couple of weeks with the turnovers is what's killing it. And like you said, I think the pressing is the issue because you're pressing to overcome some deficiencies of your football team in big games. And regardless of what you think, he probably feels like he's been in bigger games than a lot of people on the football team. And that's no slight to anybody. That's no disrespect to anybody. But at the same time, like as a person that's been in those games as the quarterback, you feel the need to always have to try to make a play. And a lot of the play, I mean, like the Byron Murphy interception, that's a play where you're trying to get rid of it and it just ends up
yeah.
being a pick. Like sometimes like some of these picks, he's trying to hit Michael Wilson, maybe feels the pressure and throws it up, maybe try to throw it away, but it ends up just staying in bounds, and the guy it overshoots over the guy that you're trying to get to. So it's not for the faint of heart. Some of the plays that are trying to be made. I think last week, and it was a great play from. We didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I think last week the play by the dude 13, I think Jones or Ernest Jones, the play that he
Hmm.
made on the turnover with Kyler, I think that play is just a good play by a linebacker. We haven't seen the Kyler the Kyler lurked interception this year. Like sometimes you saw that throughout his career or even last year with Drew Petzing, but you hadn't seen the Kyler lurked interception this year. You just saw overthrows, untimed throws, like fourth down against Minnesota is when he threw that one ball. Like
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Now that I think
some,
back about it, that's true. Yeah.
I was gonna say like some of the turnovers are like accidental bad play, bonehead play mistakes. There's probably been only one turnover this season with, like I said, with that turnover where it's like that's a lurk interception, that's a bad read, that's a guy that's still in the zone, and even though he was kind of an open guy, the guy just made a great play. It's still kind of a bad read. So I was going overall just to say like it's I feel like the boneheaded mistakes need to decrease because I think he does trust his teammates, but I think it just ends up happening to where the boneheaded mistakes turn into like the worst case scenario where you mentioned the other four guys, they'll make boneheaded mistakes and sometimes they work out to be big plays. Sometimes they work out to be scores. And it's the unfortunate truth of, how luck plays out in the game. But yeah, I think Jakey's about to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, we got to be honest with ourselves. Like at this point, in the gotta have it moments, like Kyler cannot be throwing it up to 1-8. Like it's got to go to McBride. There's no one I trust more than James, obviously, but he's a running back. So like as far as like sure hand, I want him just throwing to McBride because Marv, bro, just doesn't. Unfortunately, at this point, he does not have the killer instinct. And even against Minnesota, bro, like that was a bad pass that was picked off in the fourth down. But like, bro, if that's me on the field, I know it sounds crazy. Obviously, I would never be an NFL receiver, but bro, like game's on the line. Like we just lost two, at that point, like a bad game the week before coming out of the bye. Like make a play, bro. Like even if you commit the offensive pass interference, like make a play, bro. You gotta try for that ball. And it was obviously way underthrown, but he just didn't even really like try, it seemed like. And some of these balls, dude, against Gonzo last week, I'm like watching it back, and I'm just like, dude, you gotta try to like.
He gives a better effort on the football. It could have been in our favor.
Coverage a little bit more. It's like it's almost like AI, and just like he's like, all right, like I'm running like a fade, so I'm just gonna like run the fade, and either the ball is gonna be perfectly placed or it's not.
Yeah, and that's the I don't mean to cut you off. That's the weird thing. At least I felt like in the process is that at least his draft prospect, his profile. Like I mean, I know y'all probably saw the Giants Hard Knocks when they were talking about it. And it's like he's talking about how it's kind of my job to make the quarterback's job easier.
Right.
Big part of that is positioning yourself. A big part of that is making bad throws look good. I can't count the number of times that we've dealt with Larry Fitzgerald making bad quarterbacks look decent because he adjusted his positioning to the football and was able to catch it. Like it's just Marvin. It just feels like everything has to be perfect in said throw, Jake, like you mentioned, and that's how the completion happens. Or it has to be, like you said, wide open. It has to be a wide open in route. It has to be a wide open over. And even some of his deep overs have been great throws. But at the same time, like everything can't be perfect as a wide receiver position. You're going to have to go earn it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think additionally too, like I don't know if you guys saw Kyler's presser from yesterday, but he kind of revealed that Marv had said like his first game at Buffalo, he felt like the game was moving like way too fast. Marv said that, like Kyler was paraphrasing, and bro, I feel like that kind of just opens up a can of worms as to I feel like the game is still moving too fast for him, bro, because it's just like inconsistencies. Like that second touchdown that he had against the Rams back in week 2, it was like that long like crosser, and then he beat the guy to the goal line, stretched out. Bro, he did adjust on that play. He did change the route to kind of like adjust himself to be able to make a play there. So it's like we know he can do it. And then additionally, too, I'm sure you guys watched on the Saturday after Thanksgiving last year, Ohio State played Michigan, and Marv made that crazy catch across. He lined up on the right side of the field. He made that crazy catch where he kind of like came back to the ball, was being pass interfered with, and still made the catch on the ground. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it's like we see that he can do it, and we see that he's done it in the NFL, like that game against the Rams, but it's just the inconsistencies. So in my humble opinion, like obviously I'm no expert. I like to think I am, but obviously I'm not. I feel like the game is still moving kind of fast for him. But even still, Petzing has got to do a better job at getting the man some targets. Like there's no reason why Brock Bowers should have 300 more yards than Marvin Harrison has.
That's insane. 300?
300, bro.
I mean, I guess he is the number one target though, but like that is still kind of insane.
Yeah, but Jacoby Myers has like 100 targets, and he hasn't dropped a pass yet this year.
Yeah, well, I just this passing game has been, there's something Dana mentioned regarding Kyler doing too much. Coach calls a run on 2nd and 17. She says she's on the 80% of this is coaching and scheme. Stop running Marvin a hitch or go 90% of the game, run a post. And
totally,
I agree with that too.
Totally agree. Yeah. Corey nailed the head in my opinion when he said Marv is put in a lot of positions to make like difficult catches. It's so true. They're just I don't know why we don't use him like CeeDee Lamb in the sense of, dude, even what's the harm in throwing in a jet sweep like occasionally? Because at this point, if you have any film on this team, you are never expecting it. And like weeks back, like this podcast called for Marv to be used more in the motion game, and obviously Petzing has been watching our show because he started to implement that. So
he's running motion all the time. Yeah, he's
running motion all the time, bro. So hopefully he's listening again. And I'm just telling you, bro. If you're at oftentimes when we get like just inside the red zone, the offense stalls out like horrifically. So it's like, dude, on one of those, motion Marv and just give him the ball and just see what happens because no one's gonna be expecting it. So I don't know, man. I'm hoping a small part of me is like, maybe they're saving all their like crazy stuff for this Rams game, but then I think back to this.
I pray that's okay.
To the Seattle game where it was like, okay, well, we were kind of in the same position there where it was like win or go home, and and he went home. But no, unfortunately, we still got a little bit of life. But yeah, man, I like to see the creativity with Marv go up some, and at least they unlocked Greg Dortch, man. Like that is an added aspect. He might not be having his greatest year this year, but we just saw last week the guy had like 66 total yards, and really I thought made a difference for the offense. So, dude, keep giving him like 3 to 5 targets a game in some.
Yeah,
take him off punt return and have him just run routes.
Dude, I'd love to see DJ Dallas specifically returning kicks and returning punts, because dude, that man is about like 5'11".
He's Eddie Lacy.
285, 290. He might be close to 300 pounds at this point. Like that guy, he is a brick shithouse, bro. Like I'd like that guy returning all the punts.
Yeah, it definitely is. That I would like to see that more, but who knows with these receivers and Petsing. I don't even want to get on Petsing right now. I'll let him live today. Greg, he shot us out to the guys.
Shout out to Greg.
Appreciate you. And Dana also mentioned, she said, saw someone on social media asking just how much of the passing game is a passing game coordinator and how much is Petsing. I've expressed before bringing in a more veteran passing game advisor. And I agree. I mean, I know Kyle Odegaard put it out there that the Cardinals are 11th in pass DVOA, I believe, or pass efficiency or something like that, based on metrics. And they're 11th in the pass and 11th in the run. So they're basically balanced in that essence. But it just feels like there's kind of a more desirable want in the passing game this year. And I feel like just the fact that Kyler hasn't had multiple big games, it kind of diminishes who he is as a player, at least that we think. But it's been effective for a team that has 7 wins at this point and, has the chance to win the division based on how things are working out. So I'm just going to go with it at this point. Like basically this whole crew is going to be back next year on offense. It just depends on their success is going to determine,
unfortunately,
is going to determine who is coaching them next year, likely, in my opinion. So we'll we're in it for the ride. Obviously, 7 wins is fun. 8 wins would be better. 9 wins would be great. 10 wins would be amazing. And I hopefully think this team can do that and win out the rest of the season and handle business. But switching over to the defense side real quick before we get up out of here. We wanted to have a quick one for y'all. Defensively, not much to be desirable from that game, at least watching it. Our defense kind of was mildly warm throughout most of that game, I would say. It wasn't too many crazy defensive plays being made. Obviously, Murray Button had an interception. Baron Brown had his first ever sack. Very first ever sack with the Cardinals. Darius Robinson had his very first ever sack in the NFL. We saw Mac Wilson go out with a crazy thing. When that happened, I just was like,
yeah, he got blocked, and then he just went limp. Like we watched it over again. Like it was crazy. Like it didn't even look like he got blocked in the head. Like he just got.
It's like it was just like a random like side angle of the hit, and he just literally went limp right after that. He tried to get back up, fell right back down. So scary moment, but
then Lucetta went out the next play.
Yeah, then exactly. So lost a lot on defense, at least personnel wise, at least up front, I should say, to injury. But hopefully this team can supplement that. I also saw Kaiser was out with an illness today, so hopefully we have some of those guys going into the Panthers game. But just wanted to kind of shout out the one guy on defense I think deserves the most praise, and that is our newly extended safety again, Budda Baker. He did get extended over the past couple of days. I believe it was a 3-year extension, $54 million, $30 million guaranteed, which is a lot. Shaw, I think you kind of were in agreement for me, like that $30 million guaranteed for Budda Baker seemed to be a lot. At the end of the day, you kind of understand they got a lot of cheese to spend based on this deal. They have to, because if they're going to bring in any type of player or players that they need to be successful next year, they're going to still need some type of money. So if you're going to give him that type of money, you got to think that they have, good plans in the works. But like, obviously the heart and soul of the defense, heart and soul of the team, franchise pillar, likely a Ring of Honor type of guy.
For sure,
team.
Ring of Honor.
Like, what does it mean that Budda Baker's now signed and extended? Does this mean that guys like Jalen Thompson now become viable as he's set to make, I believe, $15 million next year? Yeah. When you have a player like Rabbit, who a lot of the fan base, including myself, has been wanting to see and wanting to get out onto the playing field more consistently. What does it mean for this team overall? Like just seeing Budda Baker be re-signed and extended again.
Um. So yeah. No, go ahead, Jake. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just jump in real quick. Nah, man, I think obviously the Budda signing, coupled with the James Conner signing, like in my opinion, it just shows that I was a little worried that Monty wasn't going to do it because he has let a couple guys walk that I wish he hadn't. However, I feel like signing those two guys, one of them is a core piece of your offense, and one of them is the heart of the defense. So going ahead and extending those guys and paying them good money, like not trying to cheap them out and piss them off, and fuck around with them as Steve Keim like always seemed to do and drive away our best players. Like he said, I don't care if both of these guys are aging. Like they're cornerstones, they're fan favorites, they're culture setters, culture builders, like lock them down. And for me, signing those two guys and paying them a healthy amount tells me like this guy is doing the right stuff. Like as in Monty, he's doing the right things. He's got the vision, man. Like I really hope we make the playoffs this year. I think we can do it, but I know for a fact we're making it next year, bro. Like I'm standing on business on the fact that we are next year, bro. Watch out for this team. Gonna be scary. But getting back to the defense, like, no, that contract was huge, bro. Budda's playing his best ball this year, and it's because he's got these competent coordinators in JG and Nick Rawlis, who's done a phenomenal job with a very subpar group that most of the experts called the worst in the NFL, a crew of nobodies, right? So I don't put all my stock in the DVOA, but to be 11th, that was for the run. I think I saw the DVOA. We're like 12th or something, 13th. It's crazy, bro. Like to do that is such a testament to the coordinators, and then especially looking ahead to next year, you're getting Darius Robinson in his redshirt rookie year next year. You're getting Ojulari back. Whoever we draft, Baron Browning, who has been crazy, man. Like Baron Browning, Shad and I were watching it. We're watching like the game tape back the day after on Monday this week. We're just looking at Baron Browning. The two of us are looking at each other every single defensive snap, saying, "Dude, this guy is wreaking." Dude, he was all over the place, forcing the issue, and dude, if he can continue to heat up, like that could be an X factor as far as this last 3-game stretch. And then Darius Robinson also like finally unlocking. He was actually, I heard on PHNX, he was the highest totaling defensive lineman as far as snaps this past week. So that's a great sign, bro, coming off of his like limited status these past few games. So to be able to get those two guys going, and then Budda, man, like he's 2 tackles away from leading the league as a safety. Is just
That's
like
crazy.
He's doing crazy stuff, bro. And like seems like every game he's like a step away from a pick. So I expect one of those is coming soon too. But yeah, real quick, just to circle back to what you were saying, Corey, like, bro, I like Jalen Thompson a lot. Like I met the guy, solid dude. He's been a solid player for us, but yeah, obviously paying Budda like a hefty amount, in my opinion, if I'm putting myself in Monty's mind, like we're paying Budda for everything that he brings to the table, both on the field, off the field, in the locker room. And on top of that, we just got a guy in Rabbit who has proved to be like a heavy hitter, man, like brass knuckle type guy that is just gonna go in there and blow stuff up. Like he's quick, like he's got great instincts, great fundamentals. Unfortunately, yeah, I mean, if Thompson is due for 15, you said, like, I would say there's probably like a less than a 25% chance that we see him get extended, just based on it looks like the moves that they're making here. So yeah, man, but I'm excited. I feel like the defense played great. Like realistically, it was 23-3 at one point. I know the Patriots finished with 17, but both of those touchdowns, man, were junk time, especially the last one where May ran it in. Like defense was kind of standing around, like we're healthy, like for the most part, let's just get on to the next game. So defense was locked down, man. Like that was basically like arguably like a 30-10 type of game. So
yeah, definitely. But Shad, Budda, and his impact, and what it can mean for us.
Nah, real quick though, I was about to say like about the defense this week. Like they definitely did what they were supposed to do. Like I mean, if you look at the Patriots roster, like their best, their best threat on offense is like Pop Douglas. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So like this week we got Jalen Coker. That's probably their best threat. Him or like Chuba, I guess. Like,
Got big
Chuba,
but
feeling. You don't got big feelings?
I mean, I don't know. I don't care about Thielen, but
He might. Yeah, sure. He might cook. He might cook SMB for sure.
no
I
but
way,
ain't
bro.
gonna lie to you.
No
but
way.
basically,
No way.
SMB's been nice the last couple weeks, bro. We got to give him a little bit of respect.
no, he has been. He has been. And I would like to I'd like to say that like, we kind of owe him a slight like, apology because
Hey,
we were
nah,
kind of on
buddy.
him.
Nah, buddy is still trash to me. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I don't know, but
He's been not bad. You've been not
Right.
awful, but you're
yeah,
still
Dude, but
awful.
but
he's had a nose for the ball though, bro, which is like
Yeah,
as we
that's
get
fair. That's fair. That's
as we
fair.
get into this time of like every game is a
yeah,
playoff game, like that's what you need. And honestly, bro, like for the last 5+ years, this team has not been a turnover team. Like
Hmm.
always bottom of the league. So if we can get a guy and we can conjure up a little bit of like Tampa Super Bowl run SMB, like that'd be fine by me. But yeah, Corey, I still agree with you as far as coverage wise. Like this guy is he's a walking yellow flag.
I say he's definitely due for a turnover for sure. But yeah, Buddha, glad to see he's back. And Shaw, I know you want to finish your point. Glad
yeah,
to see Buddha's back.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say like, the defense did their thing against like a team that they supposed to do their thing against. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
we got the Panthers next week. Like I expect them to do more of the same. But
Hmm.
just kind of looking at some of the comments, like Dana said, do we see a JT trade as their market? I don't know if like we see a trade for Thompson, but I definitely feel like the extension, which is well deserved. And shout out to Monty for well, I'm about to give Monty some praise, but then I'm about to kind of question some of the stuff that he did. But shout out
Hmm.
to him for giving him the contract, him and James Conner these extensions when he did it this year, because I'm pretty sure like some of that money's coming off of this year's cap.
Hmm.
So, which wasn't going to get used anyways. You know what I'm saying? So props to him for that. Keeping two pillars of this team, offensively and defensively,
Hmm.
on the team. Um, and then yeah, like I guess Jake talked about like
I was
Brownie.
going. Yeah, I was going to say
Um,
real quick to the point of JT. I don't know either if he's going to get traded. I mean, you look at it. I know a lot of people were worried about the three safety stuff. I don't know if people realize it, but Garrett Williams he's in a nickel position, but at
yep,
times he rotates
yep,
into safety zones and plays deep pass at times. So they utilize three safeties. It's just sometimes you don't actually see three safeties on the field. They will go to three safeties on the field at times if they're in like super dime or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, like they actually utilize Garrett as a safety at times. So I don't think
yep.
it's too much of a worry to say that we're going to lose a Jalen Thompson if he can or does get traded or in a piece for a move. Because you do have Garrett Williams' ability to be versatile both at corner and safety, and you have multiple outside corners. You have three outside corners technically already on the roster. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think it'll be okay if JT goes away. I mean, I know we got JT fans, in Cardinals Nation, and I used to be one of them, but buddy, the last 2 years, he was probably, you could argue he was our best defensive player last year, our best defensive player
Mhm.
when you don't have anything on the
Coverage.
defensive side
Yeah.
on the field. So overall, he's expendable in my opinion. But go ahead, you can keep
Yeah,
going.
and I was gonna make that point. Like we have Garrett who like Pro Bowler, Pro Bowl him. That's how good he's
Yeah.
been playing.
Yeah.
And he kind of plays, like you said, sometimes he'll play that safety position. So between him, Rabbit, and Buddha, I feel like we're straight. We're set up there, good. But one thing though that like I was thinking about because I saw like a little chart talking about like uh something with like the cornerbacks and like their coverage percentage or something like that. And a name that I saw up there that I was like, man, like this dude low key has been playing pretty good. And that was Kamari Lassiter. And I think
Mm-hmm.
back to the draft with Monty trading back. And I'm not saying that Max Melton has been playing bad or anything, but obviously teams pick on him a lot because he's a rookie. But you look at all the cornerbacks that went in that draft, and every single one of them has been playing like amazing, except for Max Melton, Cooper
Yeah.
DeJean, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Quinyon Mitchell, Nate Wiggins. These are all guys that like we passed on that. I don't know, like I hope, Max continues to develop. He will continue to develop, but like it's like, man, like Monty, like maybe you were kind of overthinking it a little bit there. But
Yeah. I saw I
outside of
saw
that,
Max in some I saw Max in some stat the other day. I don't
mhm,
uh trying to remember. It was from the 33rd team. But he was in some stat. I think he's sharing the football field with people that don't need to be on a football field as much as him. And I think that's what's crippling as much as anything.
That's true. That's true too.
I'm honestly, I'm not really worried about our DBs, to be honest. Like I feel like given the lackluster pass rush we have, like the DBs have played phenomenal given the circumstances. Dude, even with Garrett Williams, like you guys are talking about like Pro Bowl. Dude, I think it was against Minnesota. Like while we still had like a decent lead, he picked one off like across the middle of the field, and they called like a bullshit pass interference where the receiver just fell down. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I think it was Jeff, dude, that he was covering, and he fell down, and Garrett picked it off, and then they called it back, and we were like, it kind of like, bro, like that kind of got lost in the shuffle, but like that was a huge missed call that took away an interception, because I think that would have been his third on the year, and we probably would have won the game. So
yeah,
I got this Max Melton stuff right here. I was gonna say it said it's Melton's coverage stats since week 9, 41.2 completion percentage rate allowed, 4.4 yards per target, 0.6 yards per coverage snap, 54.8 passer rate, and 0 touchdowns, 3 pass breakups. So
pretty solid.
So yeah, I mean he's been playing solid. I guess it's just like he's not on the field as much as like you would hope for like your second round pick, right? Like you got Starling still out there, you still got Sean Murphy bunting.
Easily.
I
think they didn't calculate for comprehending how much the coaches actually like Star Thomas and how much he was actually going to end up playing.
I like Star Thomas a lot, bro. I feel like I feel like the dude's the Energizer Bunny. I like seeing it personally.
And as much as the coaches talk about him, that's kind of how it's going to. You can tell that guy was not going to be able to come off the field, but I think Murphy Button's injury, along with his play, helped it for him to come off the field a little bit easier.
Bro, I think there's one guy you guys are forgetting too that might end up being the secret weapon to unleash as we go on this playoff run.
Who we talking about?
Who we talking about?
I'm talking number 13, Keitrell Clark. That man.
Oh Lord.
Yo, I don't know where he's been at, but
no, bro. He's literally like he's on the team to run out of the tunnel, rip a backflip, get the crowd going, and kind of just like get his cardio in on special teams.
That's crazy.
But he's an athlete. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. No, shout out Keitrell Clark. I met his family. I watched.
Yes, sir.
The last thing I wanted to say about the defense though was just and Dana kind of like she hit it like in the comments talking about like the backfield, or you brought it up, Jake, like with the pass rush, right? Like Baron Browning, like obviously like I was just kind of questioning Monty, but I want to end it on a good note. Like Baron Browning, like that signing, like I know is this trash ass like Patriots left tackle that he was going up against, but man, every single game he looks like he's just getting better and better and better, and he's getting more comfortable in the defense. And like you said, Jake, like when we bring back when BJ comes back next year, we add somebody else, like this team is going to be defensively, the pass rush, it's like it's good now, but it's just not consistent, right? Like it's not like we don't have somebody that's like we know like if they get back there, like they're going to wrap up the quarterback.
There's no consistent interior pass rusher.
Yeah,
bro. It's almost like it almost seems like so untimely. Where it's like first down and we get like a nice sack that we weren't really expecting, and then on third down we're like, all right, we got like 3rd and 8. Like this is a great opportunity. We just can't even get within the vicinity of the quarterback, and Geno Smith is just jumping around in the pocket until he can just find a wide open JSN. So that's got to improve for sure. But I like where it's trending.
Definitely. I mean, got some great comments from Dana. She also mentions Rabbit has looked ready to start anytime he gets reps, and that couldn't be more than true. She mentioned 9 wins was her prediction. Just expected at least one of those to be roasted sea chicken, and I think we all did. I think at least a split was going to be. At least the split would be in the works, but it's just Kyler Demons with Seattle. I don't know. We're gonna have to overcome those.
To Dana too, if you're still listening, I think personally, I thought we were going to sweep Seattle, but if we can sweep LA and SF and get swept by Seattle, go 4-6.
That's fine.
I was going to say I feel like all 4 of us would sign up for that.
Easily. Fine. We just said it just needed 4 wins. It didn't matter what 4 wins it were. 4 wins was the recipe. It was the recipe.
Also, real quick before we move on, I was going to say Shad, do you remember who I was comping? What we're seeing out of Baron Browning right now? I want to know if you.
Oh yeah. I remember Hassan
You-
Reddick.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I feel like, bro,
Yeah.
I feel like the way he's playing with that motor, he's like quote unquote
Mhm.
undersized for the position, but dude, he's been flying around. He's just been tormenting guys coming off.
And we
coming off
we
that.
don't have a true like speed guy on the edge, so like that he kind of gives us that a little bit.
Yeah, bro, slippery.
Yeah.
They can play even with those limited reps.
But I was gonna say, y'all, I kind of got to run here real quick. So like, do we want to do score predictions and stuff for Carolina, or even kind of get into
I
that?
was gonna say, yeah, I expect to win.
Absolutely.
That's just what it's
Yeah.
gonna come down to. They obviously have to win. So, but Jake, definitely give us your score prediction before we get up out of here.
Yeah, for sure. Score predictions. So it's Carolina, man. Like all the reporters ask Kyler trap game, like this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, it's not a trap game. Obviously, it's must win. Like I said, I've said it many times. It's every game from here on out is a playoff game. We got to go win. It's in Carolina. Kyler had that quote about, "Oh my God, it's gonna be cold." Like, bro, that was obviously a joke. Like, he was completely joking, but everyone wants to run around on Twitter being like, "Oh my God, he's complaining about 35. Like, it's not even cold." Yada yada yada. I think we're gonna run the ball down their throats. I think JC is gonna have another career day. I'm gonna say we leave Carolina with a win at. I don't see anything different from this past week. I'm gonna say 31-17. I think basically the same type of results we just saw, one extra point. So yeah, give me 31-17 Cardinals.
Okay. Interestingly enough, in those 45-degree games, I was going to say Kyler Murray. It says is 3-1 in outdoor games with a kickoff temperature at or below 45 degrees in his career, and has an 8-2 touchdown to turnover ratio, and a 103.5 passer rating in those games. So
make it even colder then. Make it even colder.
He might be a cold weather soldier. So, but yeah, we're gonna head up out of here. Appreciate everybody that came through. Dana says 24-18 cards. Go ahead, Shot.
And I was just about to say last thing, like, I'm gonna be there this weekend.
Yes, you will be in attendance.
We got the Shiesty order, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be rocking the Cardinals beanie with the Shiesty on, bro. We're gonna be sending good vibes and yeah, I agree.
Coming to steal that victory. Coming to steal that victory.
Coming to steal the victory, just like a couple of years ago when we were at the game.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good vibes. Appreciate you boys again. Great time to be able to meet you all, and hopefully we can keep going through this every year and continue this tradition as we've grown on this podcast. So appreciate y'all.
Sure.
Appreciate anybody who came through. We will catch y'all next week.
Sounds good.
All right, catch y'all, boys.
Have a good time, Shad. Catch you, boys.
All right.